What's going on, folks? I'm CaseRocker. Yeah, I'm wearing a Bearded Guys Gaming shirt. Anyways, figured I'd do a video. I'm gonna be doing some chicken on the smoker. So we're gonna go and get started, and we're just gonna keep it simple today. I may brush on some like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce later. I just haven't figured out which one I want to use, if I want to use the hickory or the regular or whatever. Anyways, for seasoning, I'm going to use McCormick's Montreal chicken seasoning. And yes, I've got a very large container. 23 ounces to be exact. Alright, so we're going to season with this. We're going to start out with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and the extra virgin olive oil just helps the seasoning stick to the meat, but also we're going to be smoking it, so this will also help the meat stay nice and tender and moist. So we're just going to put a little bit in the bottom here to start off with. All right. And I'll be right back with the chicken. Alright, so what I'm going to do is layer the chicken down. So this first layer is going to be drums and thighs. And then the second layer on top, I'll put the breasts. So let me show you what I'm going to do. Hands have already been washed. Okay, so we've got this oil that's in here already. So what I'm just going to do is just flop this guy around in it. Just get all sides with oil on it. Alright, try to wipe some of the excess oil away. Alright, put him right there. And I'm just going to go on and just do this for the rest of these. See you guys in a minute. Alright, so one of the questions I get is, when you season meat, do you season just, lightly on the top, or do you season, generously on all sides? When it comes to beef or pork, I usually season generously if it's going to go on the smoker. If I'm just doing a regular grill, beef, I won't season as generously as I would if I'm putting it on the smoker. But I do season all sides, whether it's steak, whether it's a roast, a pork shoulder, whatever. The dry rub just goes on all sides. So this here, this is Montreal seasoning. Now I'm going to go a little heavy on this first side. Okay. People are like, oh my gosh, why are you putting so much? Well, what I'm going to do is spread it around and rub it in. Then we're going to flip it over, and whatever didn't get knocked off while we're doing this will be put on the other side. If I think or see that it's not, covered enough on the other side, I'll sprinkle a little bit more on this first layer. Okay. The other thing is that you want to remember, we're also seasoning some chicken breasts, okay? And so those will be laying on top. All right, so we're gonna start flipping these over like this, okay? Some of that seasoning's gonna follow, and then once we get a look at what we have, we can decide whether or not we're gonna add more. And more than likely, I'm gonna add some more. All right, so we're going to do this to these, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, so here we are doing the chicken breast. So what I'm doing is with these, I'm seasoning the side with the breast meat exposed first. So just putting a little bit on here, rubbing that in. Okay, we've already got a nice coating of extra virgin olive oil here. Okay, rubbing in some of that excess here, and then just sprinkling a little bit more on here, rubbing it in. And we've only got 4 breasts here. They're pretty good size though. And I'm keeping my left hand only touching the clean parts, so no raw meat has been touched with the left hand. That way I don't have any type of cross-contamination. There we go. There's that. And again, seasoning meat side first. If you get a little much on, it's fine because you're spreading it around, okay, to the unseasoned side. So we're going to flip this guy over, spread some of that excess here. Okay, so hopefully I don't get as much. There we go. Alright. Get that in there real good. And we've got one more breast. Alright. Fits in just nicely right there. Gonna use some forearm magic. My dirty hand is free, so I'm just using my forearm to pour a little bit of olive oil on this side of this guy. There we go. Come on now. There we go. So this one, it looks like they cut a little much there, so I'm going to try to get some of that seasoning as far into the breast as I can. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Just a little bit there. There we go. Alright. And all of this is looking good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grab some saran wrap and body wrap this. It's a technique I learned in working in a kitchen. So let me wash my hands and then we'll body wrap this. Alright, just got to move my tea kettle out of the way here. Let's move that to the side. Alright, so we have wiped this surface down so it's sanitized. And so here's what I mean when I say body wrapping. Alright, I've got a kitchen grade, ooh, little belly. I've got kitchen grade Reynolds wrap here. Alright, we're going to give a little bit of slack there. And the nice thing about that is it's heavy and you can pull it out like this with relative ease. So what you'll want to do if you want to get a roll like this, you'll have to find some sort of outlet or supplier that gives that you can purchase it if you're not a professional kitchen. A lot of people, they'll buy this from a vendor like US Foods or Cisco. Alright, and this is something done in a lot of kitchens. They'll season something, get it. So I worked in prep kitchens before I got into broadcast media, and this was something we did. So I would prep things for the chefs, season them, and then put them in the basically put it in one of the refrigerators. So when we prepped stuff, we prepped it in a certain order for a meal service. And, you know, we'd mark it and date it. And that way the chef could go in, make sure, okay, this is today's date. This is what is on the menu for today. I got to grab these items. So he would grab the items that we prepped today for today. Sometimes we would prep certain things ahead of time. Usually fresh meats were all same day prep. We never did, you know, oh, well, this is going to be for Friday, so let's prep it on Monday. That makes no sense because it could go bad. So these we've all prepped for going on the smoker for today. So I'm going to go ahead and let the seasonings just start to sink into this meat. And we're going to go prep the smoker. See you in a bit. So, as you can hear, we're in cicada season. So it's a little noisy. Not sure how well you're going to be able to hear me. The other thing people ask me is about cleaning the smoker. Now, one thing I'll do between types of meats is I will clean off the grates, okay? But smokers, you tend to season these guys, and you don't bother cleaning out the rest of it. Some people do. You don't have to, because you don't want the flavor, you don't want like a chemical flavor in your meats. So that's why you season it, and you just, you know, leave the rest alone. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean these grates, and before we put any chicken on or anything like that. So I'll clean these. I'll get the fire started afterwards, and then we'll go from there. So now I'm using a brush. It's got stiff nylon bristles on it. It does the job. I don't want the porcelain to scratch. The porcelain is a coating over iron. And what does iron do when it gets wet and stays moist? It rusts. So I'll show you. Yeah, actually I have some right down here. So I used something with a metal wire brush. And see how that's all rusted out? Okay, so some parts haven't. So the parts up here, all right, see how they're still nice and black and they're not rusty or anything? That's because I didn't break the porcelain. Down here, I used a wire brush and I scraped too hard. You know, maybe it was a metal end like this, you know, and I was doing whatever and I chipped that porcelain. So that's why I like using the nylon brushes, so that doesn't happen. Because the last thing you want is to poison your guests by having little pieces of metal in your meat. So you always want to keep an eye on your grates to make sure that they're not rusting out, because if a flake of metal does, if somebody eats it, they're going to get sick. I can't tell you how many people have, you know, found those little metal wires from some of the metal cleaners or scrubbers, you know, got stuck in a burger, like got stuck in burger meat or something, you know, and then it got stuck in their intestine and they had to get surgery to have it extracted. So we don't want that. So that's why I use the nylon bristles for the primary cleaning. And I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I just want to get this top layer pretty clean. Okay, I'm not going to use the scraper or anything like that. You know, this isn't a flat griddle surface. And again, I don't want this metal breaking the porcelain and then causing a rusting issue, because then I'll have to replace the grates again. Alright, that should be good here. Alright, that should be good. And I'll be back when it's time to fire things up. Phew! It is hot out here already. I haven't even started the fire yet. So people ask me what type of charcoal do I use, what kind of charcoal starter do I use. So I use a chimney charcoal starter. I use hardwood lump charcoal. I do not use briquettes. I know some people live by briquettes. I'm not one of them. All right. And we've just got newspaper under there to get this guy started. All right. So nothing too fancy. All right. Whew. Get out of the smoke here. So this is the type. This is hardwood, lump charcoal. Not all pieces are big like this. Some of them are smaller. I got sweat in my eye. All right. So what I'll do, I'll let this guy heat up a bit, and shoo. Sorry guys, the smoke. I can't see. So what I'll do is I'll let that heat up. Oh my goodness. I'll let that heat up, and then I'll be back when it's time to put the chicken on. All right. All right, so we've got the fire on. We've got that started. Just making sure that valve there is closed. Guy around. So we got it in there. I'm gonna add more in a minute. Shoo! It's hot. It's hot. So we've got that rolling. I'm gonna let that heat up a little bit. I'm going to add some more first, and then we're going to put the chicken on once we get up to a relative temp. Alrighty, we are just about to temp, so I'm going to go ahead and add some chicken. And once the chicken is added, I'm going to add some hickory chips. Usually I'll have chunks when I use like a bigger piece of meat, but since this is individual chicken pieces, I'm not going to use chunks. I'm going to use just handfuls of chips, because I don't want to go too many, because if you over smoke it, then it tastes bitter. It's not that great. So I'm just going to go ahead and unwrap these guys, add them to there. And what I'm going to do is the bigger pieces, the breasts, I'm going to start them in the front first. So I'm going to do breasts, and then in the middle will be the thighs, and then at the back will be the drumsticks. That way the smaller pieces don't dry out. Now the breasts, because it's white meat, it tends to dry out. I'm not going to keep it at the front the whole time. I am going to move it further back away from the primary heat. But to start out, since it's a bigger piece and we're doing low and slow, I'm going to have it towards the front. Be back in a minute. All right, so let's get this chicken put on here. So with the breasts, the skin, I'm going to have facing where the heat comes in from the firebox. Okay, have the meat facing away, and hopefully I can get a good grip here. There we go. All right, now the thighs and skin always face up. Oh, no. All right, there we go. All right, so hickory wood chips. This is about what I'm doing. Is just a, modest handful. So I'm just going to toss these in here. Okay. And so now I'm going to leave this in here for a couple hours. Keep an eye on it every so often. Add more hickory as needed. And it already smells great. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll be sure to post pictures of the final product. But hope this helps some of you out with some of your questions. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Discord or underneath this video, whichever, man or lady or whoever's watching. Sorry, old habits die hard. So anyways, as you can see, we're already producing smoke. Oh yeah, with the wood chips, some people soak them. I don't soak them. There's no need to, because I've already got a drip pan with moisture in there, which will evaporate, reintroduce moisture into the air. Also, we coated each piece of chicken with extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to get inside. I'm going to get something nice and cold to drink, water, juice, whatever. Probably water. And cool off, because it is hot out here and the noise is horrible. The cicadas, last time I measured it with my sound measuring app, was at 75 decibels steady. So I'm going to go inside, get some relief from that. All right, folks. See y'all around. Thanks for hanging out.